Have you dreamt lately of escaping, of going somewhere far away, going to a new land, a new place, a new job, a new whatever it is? And that's good too. There's hope. There's hope of the mind. And yet there's also you holding the sword, trying to, you look casual enough, but yet you also are still protective, defensive. And here shows again that sort of protectiveness that you need to let go of, that you need to hold on so tight. Because even though, let's see, how do you say this? Even though you say you dream of something better, there's always the fear and there's always the, I need to hold on to what I do have because I don't know what the future brings. And even the idea of you holding on to this concept of whatever you think the future brings, both concepts, you're holding the past and you're holding the future. Because what if the idea that you have could even be bigger? Like, what if you're still playing it small in what you want? Because your mind spirals and it's going round and round and round and it's used to what it's used to. But what if every time you've up leveled, every time you've left a job, left a friend, left a friend's group, left a romance, left a whatever, but you realize you're in this karmic loop finally, only by stepping back and looking at it instead of trying to change the vision of it. And instead of projecting what, maybe you're projecting like, I'm right, they're wrong, they've hurt me, but you realize you have a part of it, and I know that part sucks, but maybe you realize I've been too nice all this time, or I've always been seeking approval and I give too much, whatever it is. And finally, maybe, as you see here, you're not seeing the rest of the staircase, and maybe it's not even spiraling anymore. Maybe you're finally off of this. But you have to allow. Now I see this light coming out as a projector of your mind, but I also see it as divine, trying to show you something else. But what you project becomes this bigger thing on the big screen. But what comes into from the divine is a smaller funnel. And it's for a reason, because it's going to take a little longer, just bit by bit, to make this big change. And eventually, it'll expand you. But for now, it just feels like little bits of filter, little bit of crumbs, little bits of, what am I looking at, seeing, hearing, feeling, everything. And eventually you'll start picking up on little signs, picking up on little things. Like, this reminded me of, like, I literally was just picking up little trinkets just because they were beautiful. I saw like someone's little Eiffel Tower thing and I picked it up to look at it. I saw someone's little like floral charm at different areas during my walk, and why not? This is very much picking up whatever you see as beautiful, and instead of picking up what you're used to, picking up money, picking up negativity, just whatever it is you've been doing, something new instead, and see what happens, see what it feels like, see how it, like at work they gave us these these stickers that were textile, no, tactic, no, what's the word? Well, anyways, it's where I get to feel it, and it felt good. It felt different. If it's not, your usual slippery sticker, and it kind of reminds me of life, where sometimes things feel slippery, and sometimes you want like a better grip, like stairs. They had those little sticker strips that, so you don't fall, and it gives you a better grip. You know. So maybe that's what we need in our life, for a better grip of life, get a better grip of what we're thinking and feeling, like not running away from our thoughts and our mind. And then we can receive from the divine, receive all the gifts, the beauty. We can receive truth and clarity, and even silliness. Look at the horse. I don't know what this horse is doing. It just looks like this guy is trying to be serious and everything, and then the horse is like galloping in the background, grabbing your attention, and that's kind of like what spirit is doing, right? Like you're going, I want this image of this perfect guy and all these things, and then spirit's in the background like, look at me, look at me. And so this card is usually about meditation, and I'm actually surprised that it's reversed, because upright, it's very beautiful, and see how she just is free to be herself. And maybe the reason for that is because of the thoughts of our future and our past. You see how she looks this way and she looks back. And when she looks back, she's protective of everything she's done. And I get it, because sometimes you feel like, my God, I did all these and it's let me here, and maybe we feel shame or guilt and we hold that so close to our heart and we hide it and we protect it instead of feeling it, or we try to run away from it. And this one, she stays where she is, because what's gonna bring her down? Where's the ladder, for instance, that brings her down? Like, what is she even sitting on the edge? And on the edge is dangerous, it feels scary, but she looks safe and serene and trusting, right? Versus this one who, if she's looking at all that she's had and trying to hold on to it, you start losing the color and you start just kind of missing all the things around you. And you might not hear or see the ideas that divine is giving to you. And that can come in any ways. It can come in, again, nature. If you go on a walk and an idea pops up, or if you're reading a book or listening to music or listening to the people even, right? Like these two birds, they're chattering away. Are you hearing what they're saying? Maybe again, someone is chatting and you're not participating. Maybe you're so busy planning and focusing, you're not part of the world. You're part of your own world, not the outside, and missing stuff. And again, you start to miss these things if you're not trying to receive the different type of whatever. If you're not open to the different ideas, open to the different things you can see and feel and touch and experience. And this, there's joy in kind of like tossing it all, whether that's, again, just letting go of everything that you've been holding on to, or even gifting it. There's something rewarding in gifting. And sometimes, I've mentioned this a couple times where I'll leave things and I'll never know who takes it. But yeah, I shouldn't look, but I do go back and I'm like, it's gone, someone took it. And there's also this thing where the other day I finally said a thank you to someone, and it meant a lot to them, and I did only choose to say it to her versus someone else. And so there's different types of treasures, and one of the treasures for me is feeling safe and protected and being able to just sit there without anyone poking at me, without anyone bothering me, with, like, my boundaries protected. You can't get in, you're not allowed in. And then allowing me to sort of look back and breathe, like to feel safe in what I've been going through, like including the sadness and realizing like I had to experience all that, and not running away, and being at peace in who I am and what I was doing. And also realizing like there were so many people who did want to help, who did want to give, who did want to listen, who did whatever it is, you know? And this one, it's funny. It's like trying to wedge yourself into a space. And it can be silly to try, but it also feels like you don't have to squeeze in with everyone. Like, you see how she's like, I'm going to have a little fire and a spark, and look at her hand, like, I'm here. You will see me, you will see what I'm doing, and then you will realize, like, I'm not fitting in. I'm burning this path, this hole in the ground, this thing that is going to contain me, and then eventually it's going to contain all of us, and it's going to be something where we don't have to squeeze in, and we don't have to like rush to fill. It's just going to be. And then as you start doing that, you start leaving a trail and you start having your own horse and silliness and your own fun, and you're not rushing. And I love that he's like seeing that the shoes is like just being part of the nature in a smoother ground versus walking over like dangerous rocks, sharp, jagged, or even like the wetness or the mud or whatever it is, you know? Like, why not take the easy trail, the nicer trail, the smoother trail? Like, we don't have to prove anything to anyone, and we don't have to be anything but ourselves, you know? And, like, this is the ultimate. This is the ultimate. Like, it's scary to have our own blinders off. To say whatever we've thought we've been seeing wasn't it, you know? This one also shows like it looks like two paths to me. They look dry. They look scary. You're like afraid that I won't have that. You're afraid of being back here and kind of regretting and looking back in the past and kind of going, why did I do that? Like I should, let me go back. I don't want to see the future. And that sounds crazy, I know. But again, the beginning, the changes, the new, even this sounds crazy, but sometimes freedom is scary. Because like my mom, like when I give her freedom of choice of even just food, she's just like, I don't know what I like. And I thought that was the craziest thing I've heard. Like, how do you not know what you like? You do know what you like. Or at least she knows what she doesn't like. And that's what I realized. Like, she's always criticizing, not enjoying. And so it's almost like she's afraid of picking the wrong thing and not enjoying. But lately, I've been noticing she's been enjoying. She's just been like, let me try. Let me go with you. Let me just be in the moment and just, and then show like, I want more. And so that's us where, we might be hearing these loud noises in our head, your own voice back and forth, the fear, versus the ego versus who knows what else, I can't even name it because we don't know what everyone's going through and we don't know why we go through it until we're on the other side. But we won't get through with the blinders on, with sort of, she is even, like they're trying to pull away and she's trying to hold on to the strings. And it's almost like I'd rather go back to being a puppet where people tell me what to do. And part of that is also when someone tells you what to do, then you can be angry at them and saying it's their fault and they suck and they created this condition. But the moment you're free and you're allowed to wander and explore and leave your, not even just like footprint now, like you're leaving so many other things, your words, your whatever your actions that you're doing. And it sounds crazy to be seen. Like even here, she's like trying to hide. Like it's almost like if I don't see you, you don't see me. But it's not true. They see her, And then they're trying to help her and she doesn't see that. So if she could like let go of the fear like of the, again, it goes back to like letting go of the thought and the projecting and sort of like this image of what is supposed to be good, and just kind of allowing to see what has been good and what could be even better, and just, not worried about taking what you have with you. Like, look, this guy is so free, which is like, I'm okay, I'll leave it behind, I'll still have more. Like, how did he, even get to have all that stuff, right? Like, it went from the one coin to the six to how many are here? There's 9 of these bowls thingies, to like there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, plus who knows how much more is in there. And by doing that, and by balancing things, um, and by, it's funny, I'm looking at this and it looks like balancing, but also looks like surrender, you know? And it's not like waving the white flag of surrender, like I give up, I'm not gonna do anything. But it's the white flag of like, I release all the stuff, all the past, all the darkness, all the whatever, all the actions even, maybe you don't even have to do so much as just receive and just see and just feel. And then from there, all this, like this card totally threw me off as like the final piece, but it just kind of keeps linking back, because I was expecting like a really good card after all of this. But it makes so much sense, because now you see this, let me show you from this. This one is coming in, and this one is blocked. Like, how powerful is this one to block all of these and to create a light that then starts to like, it's like all this black stuff starting to fall off. And it's not that they can't be who they are and that they have to be this bird, but that they can't move forward with their negativity. See, they can't move forward if they're hurting you. So the situation, the people, if they're not meant to be, they're not going to move forward. And also for you, if you're trying to move forward and you're being blocked, know it's because you're being protected. And something better has to be, it has to be something better in order for it to move forward. So don't be sad if you've been seeing all this stuff and you feel like you're in a hard place and there's barren. Like, look back and see how many things that you have, how many colorful, beautiful things, how many people, how many different resources, how many everything. And like, that's when you'll start to get away from this. It's been tough. It has been. And you're trying to run away, and then just give it time, And even here you can see she went from being in a bubble and propped up to being able to not be in a bubble and not having to be propped up and propping herself up. Like, you have that, you've done it. Where's the spiral? You've done it before. And yeah, even that could be scary, because you're like, I've done it before and it keeps leading me back. But this time this time you know the pattern, and you're like, I'm going to break that pattern. And part of that pattern is receiving and not over giving. And part of that pattern is resting. Part of that pattern is seeing the goods. And part of that pattern is having new ideas and trying new things and letting go and not hoarding all this stuff, all of that. And you will be fine. And I can't promise that, I know, because there's always going to be some kind of hurt. But I think we are cycle breaking now, and I think we will experience like this kind of joy and this kind of joy and this sort of better land and calmness. Like, he's walking versus running. If he needs to, like, get on the horse is faster. Like, how many things are we missing as resources and not thinking about, because we keep thinking about the past and looking back in sadness, and we're not meant to. We're just not. So that's all I got for now, because we got to do the work first. And part of that work sometimes is just sitting with ourselves